Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Till Death of Scream. Of course, Rob, and this is my lovely Mayhem Mel.
What's up?
Thank you very much for your continued love and support when it comes to the channel. We really do appreciate it. Listen, YouTube is very draconian. They don't like something, they will hit you. They'll hit you hard.
Yep.
So we're not getting any traction out there. If you do like what we're doing, the appreciation, when it comes to the horror and the makeup and all that stuff, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps us out with the algorithm. It's not why we're doing this, but it would be nice. We're just trying to build a family here.
Ring the bell.
And it happens even to the bigger fish here too. So, at any rate, speaking of supposed defeat, we're going to talk about The Bride, which we both personally loved. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this right now.
Facts.
Fact of the matter is that box office has deemed it flop. From my understanding and from what I've seen throughout the horror world is that the majority of the people that have seen it have either liked it for its big swing or its story or just its cinematography. It's really loved by a lot of people, more so than not, I think.
Facts. No. Listen, I absolutely love this movie. I don't care what anybody else says. This movie is going to be a cult classic. I kind of wonder if the box office is doing what it's doing because it's a female director and writer.
Well, that was something that Maggie Gyllenhaal said in an interview. She basically stated that, the cards really are stacked against you when you are a woman and happen to be directing something. So, things that don't, things that are thrown at men, are thrown much harder when it comes to a woman behind the camera. Everything's a competition, and it makes it like a really just difficult thing to, even have fun filming it at certain points. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you're just constantly.
And let's say the fact that the makeup in this movie is spot on. Look at Frankenstein's monster, Frank. You would never know it was Christian Bale.
No.
You wouldn't know. I mean, that makeup was absolutely spot on amazing.
Jessie Buckley's makeup is just so iconic, and just, the idea of, putting the splash across her face, you're going to see that everywhere.
Yeah.
You're going to see that everywhere. Don't tell me this Halloween that people aren't going to be doing it, because there's definitely going to be women doing it.
I'm probably going to do it.
I think this is a winner. I don't care, and I love, David Lynch, and I love, all these different directors that really took big swings, have their own kind of feel and, their own emotionality to their films, even though they're not trying to make tons of fucking money. I don't think that was ever the goal with this.
No.
It just so happens that if you want to make your dream happen, people are going to, throw the money thing at you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It just comes with the territory. It's amazing to me how they were able to really even get this done. I mean,
they had an A-lister in there. Come on now.
Sure. Absolutely.
And it's no, they had a couple of A-listers in there when you think about it.
Well, Jessie Buckley, we're filming this on Sunday, by the way, so it is Oscar night, and I mean, Melody hasn't seen it. I've seen her in Hamnet. First time I saw Jessie Buckley was in a film. It was an Alex Garner film called Men. Do you remember watching that? That was the first time we saw her. But she's nominated for Hamnet, and she's going to win. This is the night for Jessie Buckley. And people are already saying like, oh, this movie's gonna, kill her chances and whatever. Yeah, fuck off. Um, but she's amazing in this movie. You could see like, the vibrancy and the electricity and everything, like coming from Jessie Buckley, and the fact that she's able to just, it almost seems like almost like a theater class. The way she's able to do the Chicago accent, and then all of a sudden just go to
flip to English.
Oh, like very theatrical. Yeah. So like when like I'll ask you as a woman, like what did you get from this movie? Like, I mean, clearly I'm sure women are getting a different kind of tone from it.
All right. So what I totally got from this movie was, obviously, like, it's a resurrection, resuscitation, and a possession movie, but it's also a woman finding her name. And, Frankenstein is really taking a step back, and he's watching her in awe. Right. And he's just, like, he's in awe of her as she's exploring herself. So it is literally a woman finding her voice, finding her name, exploring herself, right, figuring out who she is.
But not in the beginning, though, because in the beginning he's lying to her. So that's an interesting wrinkle.
Well, I mean, the whole point was that she came back and she couldn't even remember who she was. So he had to give her an identity, and then let her figure out from there.
I think he's just lying to her, keep her around. I think that Frank is not necessarily...
Well, he's lonely.
Well, he's lonely, and you're going to do anything you can to, like, keep that loneliness away from you.
Right.
So you're going to lie to this woman and tell her who you think she really is. And later on become that man who realizes, what, I was wrong. Just let her be herself.
Yeah. Even when, like, he asked her to marry him, in the end, she's like, I prefer not to. And he's like, that's what I thought. Like, and he had the biggest grin on his face. He was so happy because it wasn't a matter of her actually marrying him. It was a matter of her choosing just to be with him.
Sure. Frank is not like a perfect character.
No, I mean, obviously not. But at the same time, he wasn't trying to force himself on her either.
That's very true. That's very true.
He was taking the time to actually get to know her.
So Maggie Gyllenhaal, she's always fascinated me because she's not the biggest star in the world, right? But I absolutely adore her. Everything
not like her brother.
Not like her brother, and that's what we're going to get into in a second. So, I love her in everything. Secretary, Donnie Darko. She really takes some big swings when it comes to stuff. She did that.
She's a brilliant mind.
Yeah, she did that HBO show, The Deuce, where she played a porn star that became a director, and that's where she got the acting or directing bug from, was doing that show. Then she did her first feature film, The Lost Daughter, which is more like a drama. But like, Maggie's just got this real kind of punk rock edge to her.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
I love it. I so love it. I think she's absolutely fantastic.
I do too. But like I said, and you said, like, she's not Jake Gyllenhaal. They weren't necessarily estranged from each other, but they hadn't talked in years. So, like, for him to be part of this movie was more of like an invite. Like, do you want to be part of my project? Do you want to help enhance it? Because everybody seems to think, from my understanding, that a lot of people are just like, oh, they're just like, brother and sister, and they're just like so crazy in love with each other, and they just hang out all the time. No, that is not true. She's done some incredible stuff. She did The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's done some big stuff.
I think they just had their own paths. They had their own style, their own way of doing things. But
it's also I think personally, the male-female ratio too, in terms of Hollywood, right?
You know what, though? Everybody knows her name. When it comes down to it, they know her brother's name and they know her name.
Sarah Polley from Go, and of course, from Go and Dawn of the Dead. Like, she's a director. She's a bona fide director.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart is another one. She wants to be a director. Actually, like, I think statistically, there was only like 7% of direction coming from women this year.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? It's very, very small. The margin is very, very small. And I think it's because of the pratfalls that they face every single time they try. So there's really not much to say. I mean, this is just, Maggie wanted to do her own version of Frankenstein and
Of
the
the
Bride of
bride.
Frankenstein.
Hmm.
And, like,
And she did, and it was during the Prohibition time too, correct? She did it during the
yeah,
Prohibition, the 1920s.
right, right. And then,
Hmm.
that's one of the things that I've seen people complain about. Like, maybe it would have worked better if it was like in modern times,
No.
like more of like a Sid and
Mm-mm.
Nancy thing or whatever. But you got the
No.
Sid and Nancy vibe from the 30s. So what are we talking about? Like, she gave us the
I think it
punk
was more
rock.
of a Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I said Wild at Heart. I definitely think it has that vibe more so than Bonnie and Clyde, in my opinion. But you know what? That also had a Bonnie and Clyde feel too.
Yeah.
But even though like it is set in this particular time period, like she still gave you the edge, still gave you the
Oh,
punk
yeah.
rock edge, still gave
Oh,
you
yeah.
the modern feel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so effective and wonderful, is because it doesn't feel like you're watching that, like, you know what I mean? Like a 30s
Right.
movie.
Because, the bride, well, let's get into it. Let's get into this movie.
Well,
let's talk about it, because then it'll explain it to people.
Okay, so real quick though, I do want to mention that, like I said, she was trying to make her own version of Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
She had seen the original, the Universal classic, which is wonderful. By the way, anybody who said this is weird and fucking Bride of Frankenstein is not fucking weird, like, listen, there is like a little person in a jar in that movie. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of weird shit in the original Bride of Frankenstein.
Right.
But she didn't have her own voice. And
Mm-mm.
Maggie Gyllenhaal wanted to give that character her own voice for the first time. Which I guess, like we'll talk about it later as we're talking about the movie. But I personally think that even though Jessie Buckley is playing that version of Mary Shelley, I think it's Maggie Gyllenhaal that's becoming the Shelley of that particular story. Like, this is the story that I want to tell. This is the story that I feel, like needed to be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it. I think it's great. Like, I keep saying I love it. I love it. I love it. I know it's kind of monotonous.
No.
But honestly, like, I think it was very well done.
Let's get into this movie here, Mel. Where are we beginning in terms of the film?
We're beginning with at a pub. Obviously, I think it was an underground. It was a speakeasy, correct?
It was a speakeasy, yeah.
Speakeasy, because this is what, the 1920s.
It's based in Chicago.
Based in Chicago, and you have a couple of girls with a couple of guys. They're getting drunk, and the guys are telling them what to do. And you're also getting flashes of Mary Shelley in the dark, and she's talking about how she wants to talk about the bride.
Also played by Jessie Buckley.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And as she's talking about how she's looking for a vessel to go into, to possess. This girl is getting drunk, and these guys are forcing her to drink. They're forcing her to kiss another girl. Mm-hmm. This one guy forces her to eat an oyster, and as she pukes on him, Mary Shelley possesses her.
Well, that comes into play later. Like, she's being told that she likes oysters. There's even a moment where Frank is like, oh yeah, like we had oysters and you love them. And I think that's one of the things that jogs the memory, like, ew, I don't like oysters. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, why is everybody lying to me about that?
So she pukes, and then, Mary Shelley is starting to speak to her, and then she's flashing to herself, and Mary Shelley is starting to speak to her again. She's going between voices, and she points out to the mobster that's sitting at the bar, and she starts spewing a bunch of stuff she's not supposed to.
Brusque, very loud, very British, very literary, using these strong words, like that's the possession of Mary Shelley. I want to ask you a question about her too. Because honestly, like, Mary Shelley, she did write Frankenstein. She didn't die immediately after. She did try to write different books. So why do you think in particular in this moment, in this particular film, she was trying to tell the story that she always wanted to tell when it comes to the Bride of Frankenstein? And why is it 1930?
Yeah, you know what? That is the writer's right on what they wanted to do.
Again, I think that Maggie Gyllenhaal was embodying herself in Mary Shelley, and in turn, like, possessing the main character with this inspiration, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Does that make sense?
So then, obviously, some of the guys grab her up and they're taking her outside, and she's running her mouth, she's spewing, and one of the guys pushes her down the stairs and kills her.
Well, there's a main mob boss, and she's talking shit about all the stuff that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
die.
Because she's revealing stuff that she knows that she's not supposed to say.
You gotta die. So she gets pushed down the
The,
stairs.
like the fact that this guy cut tongues out of girls' mouths.
Well, first the guy that's getting ready to push her at first is like, "No, shut your fucking mouth." You know what I mean? Like, I'm giving you a chance here.
Mm-hmm.
She won't stop, and she's just possessed, and she's just using these big words, and she's, just possessed by Mary Shelley, and she can't stop, and then he just fucking pushes her
Down the stairs, and she dies.
and it's a beautiful shot. It's just like all in slow motion, and
and she
so
dies,
good.
and they bury her. And then you see Frankenstein's monster. He calls himself Frankenstein. He goes to, you see him go walking through the crowd, and he goes up to this house, and he's there to see a doctor.
Dr. Euphronius, played by Annette Bening. Now, I wanted to ask you a question about this too. How does she know about the work of Dr. Frankenstein, do you think?
I think she had books. No, she was already studying it.
Mm-hmm.
She was studying it herself. And Frank was actually looking for somebody that could do the same thing to reinvigorate. And that's what he was calling it, reinvigoration.
Yeah.
Reinvigoration. And he
Black
wanted,
goo. Black goo.
Right. So that's why he went up to her, because that was something that she was setting up on how to reinvigorate.
Yeah. So Annette Bening, is just amazed by him. And she's like, stay at my place. I'll take care of you. Make sure you're safe. We'll just have to do a test every once in a while. At this point, Frank is like really timid, which is interesting. It's an interesting, take on the character. He's very relaxed, very calm. Only until later, where he meets Ida, the bride of Frankenstein, does he start going. Yeah.
She releases the beast in him, basically. Yes. Yeah. They're talking, and obviously
he's been lonely for 100 years. I haven't touched a woman in 100 years.
Right.
I'm tired of it.
And then like he actually goes to a whorehouse and he can't do anything. And he's just lonely because obviously he's really scarred up. He does not. He obviously doesn't look like a normal person. Okay.
Well, that's really interesting too, because there's times where he'll wear the cover over his face, and then he'll go to these big dinners and just show himself. And I'm like, wow, that's so strange. Like, now, maybe
he doesn't start showing himself till after the bride.
Maybe that's why she said in 1930. Because if you saw somebody like that, you would think, oh, maybe he got fucked up in the war.
Yep.
Yep.
So they go and they dig up this body, and he takes a look at her and he's like, "She's too pretty. This won't work. She's too pretty. We're gonna put her back. We gotta get a different one." And then the doctor's like, "This is one and done." Like, wait, this is it. We got to do this because she has this this thing she has to inject into the body, which it's to help with the
very Rocky Horror, very like electricity and goo and yeah, it's cool.
And obviously, they light the switch. They make a plan, and then they juice her up, and then they juice her up, and this girl pops up, and she just vomits this black stuff everywhere, which they find out it stains the skin.
Yeah.
So wherever the vomit went, and all of her face, on her hands, on her body, it's there. She's not pretty anymore.
There was actually
pretty,
a viewing of this film where Maggie Gyllenhaal was told to take certain things out. And we will talk about that later. But one of the main things was that some of the producers were like, "Yeah, you got it. That scene where Frank licks black goo off of her neck, you got to take that out. You can't have it. That's too much." I do want to mention too that Frank he gets inspiration from this dancer, kind of like this Fred Astaire guy. His name is Ronnie Reed. And I guess he had tuberculosis as a child. Or polio. Sorry, it was polio. And one foot was smaller, or one leg was longer than the other, so he has to wear a platform shoe or something. So I guess he sees him kind of as a monster too. But
he travels all over the country watching these movies in the theater. So wherever there's a movie playing of him, that's where he goes.
Right. That kind of keeps his motivation in terms of living.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he just, like sees inspiration in this guy, and then like you'll have a moment where he's watching him on the screen, and then you'll see Frank on the screen, and he's just dancing like Fred Astaire or whatever. Like he's just really inspired by this guy. I think that's really important in terms of the story.
Yeah, it kind of really is. Yeah. So she wakes up, and Frank is kicked. They're talking, and then she's like, "What's my name? What's my name? Who am I? Well, I want to go home, but I don't know where I live."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's very spicy right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, straight up. Like, she has a spicy personality.
She's like Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm. But, one moment she's talking in her normal accent, and the next she's talking in a British accent. You know what I mean?
Let's mention something. Like this...
And there's flashes, her going into her head, and she's talking to Mary Shelley.
Let's mention something. This movie, I know a lot of people had problems with Folie à Deux, Joker 2. This is what Joker 2 should have been.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that this is the sequel that should have been. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like it hits the mark when it comes to not only the violent aspects of these characters, but also like, their love for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things that Joker missed that this film just gets perfectly.
Oh, yeah. Frankenstein breaks into the room, and he's obviously falls asleep on the floor next to her.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor comes in, and she sees, and she's like, "What? What's going on here?"
Mm-hmm.
And they look up, and he climbed in through the window,
Yeah.
broke through the window,
Mm-hmm.
and they decide, something happened. He did something
Mm-hmm.
that got him in trouble, and he had to go.
Oh, yeah, like he was going out on his own, and something happens. But no, she just she's stuck in this room, and she's just like, Frank, let's go out. Like, I want to get out. Like, come on, please.
So he grabs her up, and they go to a club.
Yeah.
They go to a club, and that's where like all the underground people are.
A club with very modern music, which I think works really well.
You can tell that this was like, there was a lot of drag queens. There's a lot of, very alt lifestyle people there.
Mm-hmm.
And, this one drag queen comes up and like, "Want me to draw your eyebrows?" Draws eyebrows on her. They're dancing, having a great time. Frank's not dancing. He's sitting down. He's just drinking, and he's watching.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "That's my wife. That's my wife." Mm-hmm. Even guys are dancing up on her, and he's like, "That's my wife." He doesn't care. Like, she's having a good time. He's just watching her.
Well,
he's
guys
enjoying.
Really start dancing up on her.
Yeah. And then they decide to leave, and a couple of guys surround her. And
well, there's a lot of sexual violence that she took out of the film.
Yeah.
Maggie Gyllenhaal was told to take it out. She's just like, you know what? Well, if the world was a different place, then we wouldn't have to watch this stuff. Yes,
right.
It is gnarly, and you're not supposed to like watching it, but this is the reality of things, and this is what happens in real life to women all the time. And her whole thing was like, it's interesting because like the way she said it was, if I was a male director, would I get the same flack?
Right.
For showing this type of violence?
Right. Well, the whole point is there's like three guys that come up. Was it 3 or 2?
It's 2.
2 guys that come up.
Yeah.
And, Frank he has dealt with stuff. Like, like he has dealt with mobs coming after him.
Sure.
So he tries to keep calm and peaceful. Mm-hmm. And she's like, violence! And these guys try to come after her.
He's very polite all the time. He's like, I'm sorry, thank you, that kind of person.
Yes.
He's very, very demure.
And when it gets to the point to where these guys try to rape her,
No, rape her.
And they try to rape her, he smashes them to pieces. He steps in, and he throws the one guy against, and he's just banging his head in, and then the other guy, he's just stomping. I mean, he kills them. And it's a bloodbath.
Well, as he's doing, he's like, ah, 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 and you can see this, like, this guy coming out, and they basically run, and he goes, like you said, like he's used to mobs chasing him, and he's just like, look, you've got to get out of here, like you've got to leave, like stay away from me. And she's just like, I don't even know where I live. And he puts his hand out, and they run together. Then Then we're introduced to Peter Sarsgaard. That is actually Maggie Gyllenhaal's husband,
Mm-hmm.
and Penelope Cruz. And they play Wiles and Malloy. Now Malloy, played by Penelope, is she is a secretary, but she's the detective who does all the work. And Sarsgaard's character is like the centerpiece in terms of like, I talk to other men,
Mm-hmm.
they listen to me. They're not going to listen to you,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't really do his job very well.
No.
She's the one doing all the work.
She does all the work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, that's an interesting thing too, is that like, even this guy is just absolutely useless. And he's getting all this information and detective work, done by this woman. And he's just like, you know what? But I'm the guy with the shield, and you're my assistant, and that's how it's got to be, because cops aren't going to listen to you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're going to listen to me. How did they come across the whole? Did he know about the Frankenstein lore before or something? Like, I can't remember how they got into the whole case.
So they came into the case because of the two guys that were brutalized, and there was pictures that were taken of these and they're like, oh, look at that guy, looks like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there's a woman with him.
So Frankenstein exists in this world, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously they're looking for him, and obviously Frankenstein and his bride go to see a movie. They go to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in front were making out, and the girl kept trying to tell the guy, no, stop. And then she stands up, she's like, no! She said stop! And goes off.
That's possessed by Mary Shelley. Just using the big words again!
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then everybody looks, and they realize that they've seen them in the paper.
Monsters.
They're monsters. Mm-hmm. The cops are hot on the trail. They realize, okay, so they go after them. They're chasing after them.
So they're hiding in an abandoned pool, and there's some really great scenes between them. But like, the thing is like, she doesn't have any identity. She doesn't remember anything, and he's lying to her. Like I said before in the beginning.
He said her name was Penelope.
Yeah, he's just constantly lying to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, you know what? She goes, let's just consummate this. Let's fuck right now. And at first, I thought it was he didn't have a penis at first.
Right.
Didn't you?
Yeah, at first.
But it was just him going, you know what? No, I'm not. No.
He wasn't. He was really trying to take it slow and get to know her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he really wanted to get to know her, not just have her. He wanted her for her mind. He thought she was brilliant. You see, as he's with her, the way he looks at her, he is so in awe of her ferocity.
Yeah.
And like, just how she's free and wild, and he loves that about her.
But she also has a heart too, and that's what I love about it. Like, she's not just completely mindless. This isn't like Natural Born Killers where Juliette Lewis is just like, woo, like, I love killing, Like, there's a moment where they're on the train, they're headed to New York. There's an altercation where she starts singing really loud, and the cop finds them in one of the cars, and she ends up pushing him off, and he hits his head and like breaks his neck and dies. And you can see how crushed she is. Like, like, what? No, we got to go back. We got to find out what happened to him.
She's like, is he gonna be okay? And he's like, all right, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
he'll be fine.
They travel to New York. This is where he encounters Ronnie Reed at a party. And again, this is really interesting because there's times where he hides his face, he conceals his face, and then there's times where he doesn't, and nobody says shit.
Oh, but here's the best part: they keep going to the fountains and taking all the coins out of the fountains.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
to get money.
That's how they get money. Yeah, they're stealing coins out of the fountain. He's like, "It's a weird time to take a bath, Frank," and he's like, I'm trying to get money.
I'm trying to get money. Yeah.
But yeah, they go to this big party, and like I said, usually he's concealed, right in the middle of everybody. He's just like, like he's got his face exposed. Nobody says shit. He goes up to Ronnie Reed. He sees the actor played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's just like, like, hey, you're such an inspiration, and this and that, and like Jake Gyllenhaal just like kind of shuts him down, and he gets pissed off. How how does she end up getting the gun? Does he flip out first? Is that what happens?
Yeah, he flips out first, and then they start dancing. Everybody starts dancing.
That's right.
Everybody starts dancing and singing, and then the cops all come in.
Almost like the people are possessed.
Right.
Because like Frank and Ida are like, they're like, and the other people are like, and like doing the same movements.
Right. They're all dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has a gun. She gets a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And
doesn't he like rip a chandelier off or something? Like before they start dancing?
No.
That's when the cops come, right?
No, not yet. No.
Oh, sorry.
So the cops come in and she has a gun, and she starts spouting the truth about the gangster.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's looking at everybody. She's looking at all the men in the room. And she's like, just basically like she's just telling all these like horror stories when it comes to these women. Looks at Ronnie Reed and is just like, what have you had to hide? You know what I mean? Like all men have a secret. And she's just throwing it all out there.
Yeah.
And that's when the cops come, right? And that's when he rips the chandelier down and they run out.
And then one cop shoots, and the one cop shoots at her, and she shoots him and kills him in self-defense. She shoots in self-defense. Everything she does is in self-defense.
So juiced up at this point, she doesn't care about this cop.
Yeah.
They're just running around and they're like, yeah.
And that's when he breaks down the chandelier and they get out and they steal a car. Which has a really cool jacket in it. And she puts it on. And
so there's two different stories going on between, like in this movie. You got the whole Wiles and Malloy thing. They're trying to find them. They're driving to Niagara Falls.
To the next movie.
Right.
Yep.
To the next movie. So they're inspired by all Ronnie Reed's movies, and every location they end up at is based off a film that he had done. Right. So this is where Frank's going to propose to her and actually marry her. They are in the car. It's a nice little sex scene. They're having sex with each other, and it's
for the first time ever.
Very passionate. Because she's like wanting to get into it, like hard and heavy. He's just like, no, slow, please. Like, let me enjoy this.
Well, first you got to remember, first things first. They were driving, and then they got pulled over by a cop, and the cop was using poetry to fuck with her, and was trying to sexually assault her. Frank was letting her handle it, and then he steps in, and fucks him up, and then they go. And that's where the cops found out where they were heading, because they finally got the dead cop.
Right.
And that's when they get to the drive-in.
Yes.
They go to the drive-in.
Yeah.
And it was after they have sex. She remembers everything.
Yeah, I think so.
She remembers everything.
You're seeing this montage, like they're just going crazy, and they're, like they are Mickey and Mallory at this point.
Yeah.
And they're just like having this like this spree, and they're just excited and just happy to be together. He's lying to her about everything, like oh, you love oysters and you love this, and we met each other, and you died in an accident before we can get married, and just all this bullshit. And like he's getting a tattoo with her name on it, and like all this stuff, and like cops are are on the trail, detectives are still on the trail. They end up in Niagara Falls, and that's where we find out that Sarsgaard's character had made her an undercover, and she had infiltrated the main gangster's, place of business to find out information about him. And he got a lot of other women killed, due to this whole
women who were having their tongues cut out, and they were murdered and buried. Yep.
Oh, and the other thing too we should mention is that because of all the things that Ida had done, all the women in all these different cities are getting inspired by her, and they start
doing the makeup
like her, and just beating the shit out of men.
Yep. It started a revolution.
Right. Right. In Niagara Falls, she is called Ida by Wiles, and that's when she's just like, that's when she starts to like really just push against Frank. Like, get the fuck away from me, you're a liar. You know what I mean? That's not my name, like you said. And he feels like he's gonna lose her. You know what I mean? Because like she knows the truth now, everything. And we encounter them at They're another drive-in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where he actually proposes to her.
Mm-hmm. And that's when they get surrounded by cops, and he gets shot, like bang dead.
But it's like you said earlier. It's like, he's just, like, basically, she's like, marry me, and she's like, I don't think I want to. You know what I mean? And he's just like, yes, yes, and he's like, like that's what she's really alive. Like she's alive. Like she's got her own thoughts and feelings, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
She's exciting. She invigorates me, and I just want nothing more than for her to be herself. And it's awesome.
And also, she's having conversations with the possession of Mary Shelley, and Mary Shelley is like, "What's your name?" And she's like, "I'm not Ida. I'm not Penelope. I'm the bride. Mm-hmm. The bride of who? Nobody. I'm just the bride.
The bride. The motherfucking bride.
The motherfucking bride!"
Exclamation point.
She drags. She gets Frank's body back in the car. She goes back to the doctor.
So she's being chased by the cops, and they're on a dirt road. And you're just like, "There's no way." So she ends up veering the car into a cornfield. And then, movie magic. They're back in New York. Who cares? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are you just supposed to show the whole fucking, travel situation?
Right. Right.
So they end up back at Euphonius' lab, and she's just like, I love him. You got to bring him back. You got to, please. And she's just like, I don't know if I can. You know what I mean? Like that's it.
Oh, but did you notice? Okay, so I want to say one little thing. So the housekeeper that she has that answers the door.
She's got
in
makeup.
The beginning of the movie, she doesn't have this, but towards the end, she has this. So what she brought back?
She or they? I'm not sure.
Was she brought back, or was she just doing her makeup back?
She was another person that was inspired by the bride. Yeah, because all the women were inspired by her. She's just like, I love him. You got to bring him back. And meanwhile, so Wiles had told Malloy, like, look, I'm not cut out for this job, and he's just like really just heartbroken. I got a lot of women killed. Like, you're gonna take my shield. You're the main detective now. It's your job to finish this. So Penelope Cruz ends up at the lab, and she's with all the cops. And there's like this huge standoff that happens like in the lab, and there's a bunch of cops, and she ends up getting shot, like blown to shit, like Bonnie and Clyde blown to shit. And Penelope Cruz is like, no, stop. And then like tells all the male cops, like, get out of here, like, go. You know what I mean? I got this. And somehow, like, allows the doctor to reanimate them both.
She's like, take all the time you need. She walks out of the room, and the doctor reanimates both of them.
Well, why?
You know what? Because
the movie?
Because maybe it just needed to fucking happen.
We have a moment where, we see, actually, I think Frank's body, or is the bride on top of Frank? I can't remember. But, like, you can see their hands reanimate and start to hold.
I think she fell on top of him. Yeah.
And they start holding hands, and that's the end of the movie. And then there's a credit scene where these women that are inspired by the bride attack the main mob boss, and that's the end of the movie.
The end. The motherfucking end.
Anything else to say about this movie? Listen, I will say this.
Yeah, I just really love the fact that in the end, through all the shit, she admits that she does love him. And she loves him because he loved her for her mind, because of who she was.
Yeah.
Not for what she could do for him.
Right.
That he loved her. And he it wasn't a matter of letting her. He experienced her experiencing her own freedom together. Like, he didn't stop her.
Well, it's not like other men ever really respected her.
Right. Like, he just watched her in awe.
She was some sort of, flapper, or masquerading as some sort of prostitute, obviously. You know what I mean? So, like, clearly, like, men just wanted to fucking have sex with her. So this is honestly the first time where she got some real agency from an individual who just saw her for who she was and looked past the veil of, I just want to
wanted to be with her because of her. Because of her. Because of her mind. Because of who she was.
Fact of the matter is, and I will say this is the last thing I'll say about it, is that, like, John Carpenter's The Thing, Jennifer's Body, Lisa Frankenstein, is
Mhm.
another movie that we talked about on the show before. We absolutely love. All these films, like, didn't find their moment until years later.
Yeah, that's right.
I think The Bride is one of those films.
Mhm.
Even something like the Rocky Horror, like, people were like, when it first came out, was just like lambasted by critics, and they're like, what the fuck is this? This is terrible. And now it is what it is. This is a midnight movie. This is exactly what Maggie Gyllenhaal was intending to do. I think she was trying to make a midnight movie, and it's going to have
It's beautiful.
a longer life,
Mhm.
no pun intended, than most films that just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I think if it just became like this blockbuster film, I think it would just kind of went away. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I think now that it had its issues with, like, people saying it's bad, people saying the box office wasn't good enough and all this other shit, I think people are going to gravitate towards it more. Be like, I wonder what this is about. And it's really going to speak to certain people. And I think it's going to live on for a long time. I really do. That brings us to our next episode. But, first off, we just want to say thank you again for your continued love and support. That is our show. Please like and subscribe to the channel, like I said before.
Ring the bells.
We're going to talk about a film that came out in 2019 and unfortunately didn't do well. But you know what? There was a pandemic. There was all kinds of things against it. And I'm so excited that the sequel is just like getting love across the board when it comes to audiences, when it comes to critics. This movie deserves so much more. Grace is one of the greatest, like, final girls to ever be created, like, in the last, like, 5 years, 6 years.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about the original Ready or Not.
Oh my god, I just love this movie too. This movie is so good.
I love this movie. And I love that the sequel's getting so much attention. It deserves it.
She is a savage final girl. I love it.
Yeah, it definitely deserves it. The first one, like, I think it didn't get a fair shake. It came out at a bad time. That's it for us. Ready or Not next week, and we will scare you later. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.